Hello, hello. Happy 2025, everybody. I'm so excited because this is our first session of 2025. Let me just make sure that you all can hear me. Hold on a second. Let's see. All right, so the chat should be enabled, everybody. It's still early, but I wanted to come on and connect a little bit before we officially begin. Can you just let me know that you can hear me and you can see me? I'm just checking that my headphones are working. Let's see. That's weird. It's not selecting my headphones for the microphone. I'm going to try switching one setting. Please let me know if this works well or doesn't work well. Let's see. How's this, everybody? Can you hear me? All right. Is it better? Is it the same? Hi, Mama Julie. Welcome, everyone. Okay, let me also come on camera. I'm here. I'm here. Let me see you all. Let me see your beautiful faces. Hello, everybody. Am I clear? Let me just make sure I'm all clear. Looks like I'm clear. Hi, everyone. Welcome. So good to see you. Happy New Year. I know we're already 3 weeks into 2025, which is crazy to me. I believe this is the fourth week of the month and it's already flying by, but it's our first time together for 2025. So Happy New Year to each of you. I hope you had a beautiful holiday, and I'm so excited for this year. We have so much good stuff in store, and I want to thank you all for that because you've given us a lot of ideas to work with, a lot of requests, a lot of feedback, a lot of ideas for the sessions that you want to have this year. So we have a really packed schedule for this year for all of the sessions that we're going to be doing together. So I'm really, really excited, and we'll be covering a very wide range of topics. Obviously, we've been really focused on our egg cells, the maturation process, the components of our egg cells, the mechanisms behind those egg cell components, and how we can support their function, because it's just incredible to think that our egg cells are the size of just one of our hair follicles, and yet something so tiny is so critical. It contains 23, so almost 24 significant components, and it contains the information that becomes our super babies. So each of those components is really important for ensuring that that information gets represented and translated properly. So that's why we're so focused on the egg cell components. And it's really exciting because there's nowhere else in the world where you can go to learn this information and to have this depth of understanding so that you can act on your understanding, which is, of course, is what we're all here for. We don't want to just get the information. We also want to put the information to use for us, for our eggs, and for our super babies. And I believe that, let me just share my slide so you can see a little bit about the structure for today before I tell you what I was just about to say. Hold on. Let me come over here to share this with you. Okay, so I believe we will end up doing, if everybody wants to. So let's see, you should see my slides, and hopefully that's all you see and you don't see my very messy full desktop. Team, if you could let me know. Mamas, if you could let me know. And I see we have lots of people just joining us now, so people will keep coming, and we're still just kind of getting oriented and connecting a little bit before we officially begin, but we have a lot that we're going to cover today. So This is going to be very high level teaching as it always is, and probably even more than usual because you're going to be learning things you've never heard anywhere else. So I'm going to try to break it down for you in ways that are very easy to understand. If at any point you want me to slow down or you have questions, just put them in the chat. So what I believe is going to happen is that we'll have a part 2 next week, same time, on Zoom. I think we'll have to have a different Zoom. We probably can't use the same Zoom, so the team will send out a new Zoom because we're going to talk about the egg cell components today, those 23 most vital egg cell components. And then what I believe will become our part 2, because we won't have enough time to cover it today, is how the egg cell components combine with the sperm and change during and after fertilization. Okay, so if you would be very interested in having that part 2 and you want to have that part 2, just put part 2 in the chat so I can gauge the interest. And I left this time next Wednesday open in case you want to do it. So we're gonna cover all of the egg cell components today and the things that we can do to address them. And then if we want to come back for a part 2 next week to talk about how they combine with the sperm and how they change in the process of combining with the sperm, then we can do that next week. Then the following week, by request, and I believe that's Wednesday, February 5th, and we'll be sending the link out for that either at the end of this week or maybe next week. We're going to be doing, by request, our Super Family Vision 2025. So this is something that my hubby and I have been doing for our community for a very long time. Just as a service, we share our process for how we envision and we plan out our year for ourselves as a couple, and for ourselves as a family, including for our super babies. And so we're going to share that with you again. I don't know if Jair will be able to join us. He might be there for part of it, but I'm going to share with you the process that we do. And I'm going to share with you some things that I did differently this year that I think are very, very powerful. So be on the lookout. So that means if you're interested in the part 2, we'll be together again next week at this time, Wednesday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then we'll be together probably that same exact time the following week. So I know it is Wednesday, February 5th, and I believe it's the same time of day. So 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm very happy to keep coming back and to make sure that we have everything covered, because all I care about is doing whatever it takes to make sure that you get to have your healthiest eggs, your healthiest sperm, and your most amazing, precious super baby in 2025, and that you get to be happy and healthy and whole while you're doing it. So that's what I'm here for, okay? And I'll be back as many times as we need to make sure that that happens. Okay, so I see, hi, Mama Sinead. Oh, so but would love to see your messy desktop. That's so funny. How about one day before we officially begin, I'll give you all a view of my mad scientist desktop. You're gonna be shocked when you see how many programs I work in and at once, and how many tabs I work in. It's actually not as messy as usual because my computer yesterday told me that I needed to shut down because it didn't have enough memory for the amount of programs that I had working simultaneously, and it has the highest amount of memory available. So that's really bad when my computer says that to me. So, but I will happily show you the messiness of my desktop when it's in full force. And I think this is just a reflection of my mad scientist mode on behalf of all of us and our super babies. And I was thinking today, as I was preparing for our session, that I have spent more hours than is humanly possible for any one person in any one lifetime, dissecting every detail of human fertility and even fertility in other animals to gain insight into human fertility and also pregnancy and intergenerational health outcomes. And I think that it's almost a level of insanity and obsession, to be perfectly honest with you, but it's such a beautiful one because it's really allowed me to do things that nobody else has been able to do before in this field. And I feel very proud and very grateful for that. And I also feel like I'm just starting. I'm 46 years old. I'll be 47 this year in July. And I still feel like my life is just beginning, and I have so much to give and so much I'm working on in the background that you haven't even seen yet. So I just keep going and keep going. And I, that hunger never goes away for me. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So, so I'm so happy to be here with you. So today we're going to talk about your almost 24 egg cell components. So there are 23 vital egg cell components. There are others, but we're talking about the most significant ones and how to take care of them. Looks like we have lots of people who want to come back for part 2. So let's count on that. Just keep an eye on your email and your text messages, because we'll need to send out a new Zoom, because I don't think we can just come on the same Zoom again. Okay. All right. So I always have to say this. You are responsible for your health, well-being, and your family. And our house rules are that this session is for educational purposes only. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. And all student results are taken as true, but not verified in any way. Well, except that you see the screenshots and pictures, of course. All terms at fertilitypregnancy.org apply. FPI is an accepting, safe, and nurturing space for women, their families, and their dreams. And we have a zero tolerance policy for anything that threatens to interfere with this for anyone. So anyone not adhering to our house rules will result in that person being immediately and automatically removed without notice from this event, as well as from our email list and from our Facebook group, and from the ability to be a customer of ours in the future. Because we're very serious. I am very serious about retaining the beautiful culture that we have in this community. And I will not flinch to give up dollars in order to retain that. Okay, so please be advised, maintain this culture with and for us. And I think that goes without saying for those of you here, but I have to say it. Okay, let's keep going. I think all of you here know me. You know my amazing credentials. I won't take time to go over them. Let me see. Okay, so we have a lot of things we're going to do together today. So let me first, I want to start with a really wonderful announcement. And then we have 2 quick surveys, votes. They're actually votes that we would like to do with you today. It'll only take a couple of minutes, or we'll only spend a couple of minutes on them. And then we have a giveaway. I want to do a piece of trivia with all of you, and we have a special prize for the person who wins. So first thing is that this is the important announcement. I want you to be sure, listen to me carefully. I hope at this point you're not multitasking, whatever. I know the to-do list is endless, but all the work will be there waiting for you when this is over. I promise you, nothing is more important or more urgent than what we're doing here together, because every day matters. We have to keep moving along, okay? So this announcement is, we're doing things a little bit differently than we've done them in the past on our workshops. And this is what it is. I want you to make sure that you get everything that you need while you're here and we're here together face to face. Let me explain what I mean by this. So when we gather as a community, we have hundreds of people, at least, sometimes thousands of people who join us live. And there are lots of requests for things that come into the chat, which we are happy for you to send them. What we've been doing in the past is we request your contact information, and then we go through and outreach everybody as fast as we can after. Well, we're a relatively small team, and the volume of outreach that we need to do exceeds many hundreds. And by the time we send the initial messages, and then we get responses, and then we need to take the next action step, it goes on for so long that there's no way that we can do it in a timely manner. So this is what we're going to be doing from now on. Anything that you need or want, I want you to get while you're here. So we have 2 members of the support team here with me today, maybe even 3. Leslie might be here, but we have for sure Crystal and Raina who are here. And I have asked them to stay on the meeting, the Zoom meeting, as long as it takes to work with each one of you who needs something to get you that thing while we're on the session together. So they'll be, as you're putting things that you need in the chat, they'll be reaching out to you individually in the chat. And then even after we've officially ended the session, I've wrapped the material for the session, I will jump off because I have a meeting to be on, but they will stay on and they will continue to work with you in the chat until everybody has what they need. Does that sound good to everybody? Everybody feel good about that? Everybody understands? Because that way we can get you what you need much faster. It's too much. By the time we do all the back, you should see we create a spread. We go through the chat, we create a spreadsheet. What does each person need? Drafting the emails, figuring out, what do we need to send them? And it's just takes so many weeks, if not months at the end of the day. By the time all the back and forth happens, it's not efficient for you and it's not efficient for us. So let's get you what you need right here, right now. So the minute you decide, or if you came here knowing I need something, I need this, I want you to put it in the chat privately to hosts and panelists with your name, your email, your phone number, your time zone. But the team is going to start working with you immediately to get you what you need. Okay, so that's the announcement. Okay, we're going to do 2 quick surveys. So I wrote you all a long email about this, I think last week. So you might remember. So the first survey is that I want to add, because I love smells so much, and I love the beautiful sensory experience and memory of scents. I have a very strong sense of smell, so scent means a lot to me. We want to add beautiful scents to our nutrients. So we found a natural way to do this. And by the way, most of taste is smell. So even though these are scents, they actually affect the flavor of the capsules as well in a good way. So that's why it has to be completely natural. We found a solution. It's beautiful. It's completely natural. And there are about a dozen flavors available to us. And so we created a survey where we want you to rank order the scents in order of your preference. You just drag. So if you see like scent that's listed number 5 is your first choice, you drag that to 1, then you drag your second choice, etc. It's super fast. This one will take probably 60 seconds. So what we want you to do is we want you to answer. The first block is for yourself. Team, can you drop that? Oh, they're already on it. Thank you so much, Crystal. So Crystal already dropped this link. So click the link, everybody, because I want you to do this really quickly. So the first block that you're going to rank order is in order of your preference. The second block is if you're partnered, we want you to rank order in the preference that you think your partner would have. I've been doing a ton of research on preferences, the scientific data on scent and flavor preferences and how they differ by biological sex or gender. Those are not the same things, but just so it's easier for people to understand what I mean, by levels of sex hormones, stress hormones, pregnancy, which of course is related to sex hormones, and other factors. And so I think I know what are the top flavors, but I want you to vote because we want to do it exactly the way that you would like for us to do it. So jump in there and just take maybe 60 seconds to rank order your preferences for the scents and flavors for yourself. And if you're partnered, for your partner. If you're not partnered, I think you should have the option to just skip that. Okay, so do that really quickly. And then I'll tell you what the next one is. And that one's even faster than this one, okay? Oh, I'm so sorry, Mama Alice. Maybe if you didn't see the email in detail, maybe you don't have enough context for what I'm talking about. Forgive me. Okay, so we within our Super Baby Nutraceuticals bottles, let me go grab one, okay? One sec. I have them all over my office because I'm always taking them throughout the day. But this is our, let me see, I can't see myself. So let me just make sure you all can see this. Okay, so this is our Super Multi, which is our second generation Complete Mama bundle. So if you've been with us from the very beginning, thank you, by the way. And our Complete Mama bundle used to be 5 different bottles. We were able to combine everything except one thing, which I'll explain, into this one bottle and make a number of incredible enhancements. Okay, so imagine, okay, right now you open the bottle and this particular product, most of the products don't have much of a scent at all. This particular product has a little bit of a fishy smell because it has very high concentrations of DHA and EPA as well as choline, all of which have a fishy scent, especially when they are fresh. And we make our supplements in tiny, tiny batches, so much so that the ingredients are almost like you just went to the market to buy them. That's how fresh we want them to be. So imagine that instead of opening the bottle and either there's no scent or there's this slight fishy scent, it's not overbearing, it's not strong, but let's say there's no scent or there's this scent. Instead, when you open the bottle, there will be a little heart-shaped thing inside that's all natural that provides a really beautiful scent and also affects the flavor of the capsules. So that's what I mean by the scent and the flavor. Does everybody understand that? Now, is that clear? So we just want to know, so think of it as these are scents and flavors that you're going to be consuming every day because you're going to be consuming them with your supplements. Okay. All right. So I think that should answer the question. Let's see. Mama Annette. Oh, thank you so much, Mama Robin. Mama Annette, we've made the decision. We used to always send out replays. We've made the decision to stop sending out replays because we look at the data because we upload the videos onto YouTube so we can see the analytics. And we can see that very few people actually go back and watch the replays. And I know why. It's because our sessions are very meaty and juicy and we tend to go long. And so when you're not there in real time, it's hard to make that commitment to sit and watch. So because it creates a lot of extra work for us to download from Zoom, then upload to YouTube, and all it takes, because the recordings are long, it takes time. We've decided not to do them anymore because very few people make use of them. And it really makes a difference when we're together in person. I know the time doesn't always work for everybody, but we can see from the data, it just isn't warranted. So that's why we've made the decision not to continue doing that. It's hard to find the replays as well, Mama Stacy. Well, when we used to do the replays, we actually used to send them out via email after and send a link for you to watch them. But because we haven't been doing that lately, maybe it does seem like it's hard to find the replays. But we've just decided it's not something that we're going to keep doing, at least for the time being. That feels like the right decisions for us. Okay. All right. So then let me go back and look. Okay, so we did that survey. If your vote, if you didn't get a chance to vote, you can do it really quickly now. Okay, so the second vote that we're going to be taking is prioritizing the formulations that we have on deck. So these are all one-of-a-kind formulations that don't exist anywhere else, and they are the most potent on the planet. That is always, always, always my goal. Otherwise, I'm not even going to bother to do it. If I can't do it at that level, I'm not even going to bother to do it. So we want you to help us prioritize the release of the formulations that we have on deck. So team, can you drop the link? You probably already did. Okay, awesome. I'm actually gonna go, I wanna read. So in a previous email, I had described each of the formulations for you, but let me just run through the quick list. So again, there are 7 formulations that are on deck currently for release, and you just rank order them in the order in which you're most excited to have access to this type of a formulation, because these formulations don't exist at this level or at all anywhere else. So the first one is a fertility friendly aphrodisiac. The second one is viral load reduction support. This is designed for people who have HSV1 or HSV2 herpes, genital or mouth herpes, people who have had an abnormal pap smear and therefore have been exposed to the human papilloma virus, which, by the way, is at least 70% of people who have been involved, who have engaged in sexual activity. And some people's immune systems don't handle it well, and that's when there can be an abnormal pap smear or even something that escalates from there. Also, Epstein-Barr virus, long COVID, that kind of thing. Okay. Then the third one is fertility detoxification pathways support formulation. The fourth one, did I say third or fourth? That was third. The fourth one is a children's mental and physical growth support supplement. I designed this to be the dream supplement that I wanted available for my super babies and for yours. The fifth one is human growth hormone and amino acid profile support supplement. This is very important because we know that human growth hormone is critical for egg quality and ovarian reserve, for sperm parameters, and for the health, for fertility success and the health of the pregnancy and the super baby. But it's also dangerous. It comes with risks to supplement directly with human growth hormone. So this is a formulation designed to promote the body's own production of human growth hormone, and in the process to normalize and make ideal the amino acid profile that people have, because both people who consume meat and people who are vegetarian or vegan are prone to having a distorted amino acid profile that makes it so that it's harder to do things that have to do with appearance, like build lean muscle, have good metabolism, but also things that are associated with reproductive longevity and longevity overall. In fact, there's one ratio that's really important that is distorted in both meat eaters and people who don't eat meat. And this ratio, balancing this ratio, is critical for longevity. So this supplement formulation balances that as well. Then the sixth one is for support for reduction of belly fat. and reduction of waist to hip ratio within the fertile zone. And then the seventh one is hair and skin support. So this is for if you're postpartum and you're seeing hair changes, or you're seeing hair changes over time because of reduced reproductive or sex hormones or increased stress hormones, or if you just want to do everything that you can to have, you know, your healthiest and highest quantity hair, and then also your best skin. Okay, so those are the 7 formulations that are on deck. So you can just rank order them and let us know which ones you would like for us to prioritize in the upcoming release. Okay, all right, so go ahead and finish this one. And then, okay, while you're doing that, we're gonna move into a piece of trivia, which I love to do every single year, which is to allow you to guess what day the first super baby arrived in this calendar year. And the winner will receive a gift. We will send you a bottle of our exquisitely delicious B12 lozenges. I love them so much. Okay, so we'll send you a bottle of those on us as a gift for getting the answer right. Okay, all right. And just before we go on, you know, I wanna say something, which is that every day I am reminded how critical it is that we do whatever it takes for our super babies. We do whatever it takes for our super babies when before we've received them, when we're still in the process of making them, and that we do whatever it takes for them when they're here in the world with us. And in my experience, a big part of doing whatever it takes for our super babies is being able to achieve this combination of both being proactive and taking the steps, as I always say, take the next best step in front of you, as well as being patient. And sometimes those two things can really, really feel in opposition with one another. But we have to be able to do and hold both of those simultaneously. And we want to model that for our super babies. And one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately in that pursuit of doing whatever it takes for our super babies is the ability to stop ourselves from wanting to rush out of the discomfort, to run away from the discomfort. And I know that that's so much easier said than done, but it's so important, not just for us, but also for what we're modeling for them. So my son Luxor, who's 11, is at a very important stage in his soccer/football career right now. And in this moment, we are in a pocket of uncertainty. We don't know what city or what country we're going to be living in as of next fall. We don't know what language we're going to be learning and needing to learn how to speak. We don't know any of those things. And I could be in such a hurry to get out of that place of uncertainty. I need to find a home for my family where we're going to be. I need to find the school for the kids where we're going to be, all those things. But if I tried to rush us out of the uncertainty, I would also be rushing us out of receiving the blessings. Because right now, in the pocket of uncertainty, there are so many possibilities open. Why would I rather be in certainty right away with only one option in front of us versus stay in the uncertainty a little bit longer and really be open to all of the amazing options available to my son, because he is such an exquisite, incredible, unique player. And you know, it's not easy to do. And I think as humans, we always want that spoiler alert, right? We don't want it when we're watching things or reading things, but we want it in our lives. We want to know now. We want the certainty now. And we feel very stressed by not knowing the answer, by waiting, by all those things. But what I've realized is that the greater that you strive to be in your life, the more you have to be able to sit with uncertainty and to sit in discomfort until the answers come, until the blessings come. So that's why I put this quote here for you. To avoid criticism or any type of discomfort, do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Except I'm sure that every single one of us who's here right now agrees that's not what we want to do with our lives. We want more from life. We hunger for more. We're ready for more, and we're raising super babies who are too. So if the more we want to do, the more we want to say, the more we want to be, the more we will have to push the edges of our comfort zone, and the more we will have to develop the muscle of being able to continue to be proactive while sitting in the uncertainty. And right now, my task as the mama bear is to walk that talk and to model that for my super babies, so that that is second nature for them, and so that that is easy for them as they're growing, because that's what they've known from the beginning. I wasn't taught that. I didn't know that from the beginning, but I want to make sure that they do, so that the blessings that they receive and the impact that they have on the world as they want to. And for my boys, their impact is just to be some of the greatest footballers who have ever walked the planet, right? So to have that impact and be available to receive the blessings, but that also requires sitting with the uncertainty and the discomfort, because the more you want to do, the more you want to be, the more you want to receive, the more discomfort and uncertainty you will encounter. Think about it. If you don't strive for much, if you don't strive for your super baby, then you encounter the same things every day, and there's not a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of routine, there's a lot of predictability, and it feels safer, and in a way it feels easier, but that is not all there is for you. So do whatever it takes for your super babies now while you're making them, and also while you're raising them. That will not stop once they're in utero. That will not stop once they're in your arms. Okay, I just want to remind you of that, because we've got to be the mama bears now and always, and that requires being strong even in the face of uncertainty, and even in the face of discomfort, and even saying, okay, bring on the uncertainty. I'm gonna sit comfortably in this discomfort, because I know what's on the other side of that is so beautiful for my super babies. Okay, so I just want to remind you of that. That doesn't go away once you get your positive pregnancy test, once you make it to the 20-week anatomy scan, once you give birth, once your super baby's here. That will be ongoing for you. All right, everybody? Okay. Oh, the trivia. Okay, let's see. Okay, first super baby of 2025. Was it January 1st? Was it, okay, we're gonna pick the winner who's the first one to put the answer. Okay, so because otherwise I don't know how we would do it. January 1st, January 8th, January 18th, or January 20th. Let us know. Okay, team, find the first person. Okay, so the answer is January 8th, which was actually a little bit later than in previous years. I think last year, was it last year? One of our mamas, who had been trying to get pregnant for 6 years, I believe, by the way, went into labor on New Year's Eve, and then she gave birth on January 1st. So it was January 1st. But this year it's January 8th. So whomever was the first person to put January 8th in the chat. Congratulations, you are the winner. And make sure you put privately to hosts and panelists your first and last name, your mailing address, your phone number, your time zone, all that good stuff, so that we can send you your delicious B12 lozenges. Let me see if I can see quickly who it is, so I can celebrate you out loud. Let's see, let's see. Ah, we had lots of good guesses. Let's see. Let's see. I see. Oh, thank you, Mama Robin. Let's see. Okay, so we had, oh, I think it was Mama Stacy was the first one, everybody. Mama Stacy was the first one to put B January 8th. By the way, I looked above, so even if you didn't put the letter of the response option, but you put the date, I checked those too, but I believe that was the first one. Congratulations, Mama. Okay, so that was Mama Stacy M. Okay, wonderful. And we've had so many new positive pregnancy tests. This is just I didn't have time to put all of them. I also couldn't make a very pretty collage, but here are just a few examples of those that have come in just since, I think right before Christmas and since Christmas. Okay. All right, let's keep going, everybody, so we can cover all of the beautiful material. Yes, Mama Stacy, you're so welcome. I know there are so many, and I actually would like for you to be able to read all the messages. Oh, this mama, okay, I think we just got this message yesterday or the day before. Hi, Dr. Cleo, Happy New Year. I wanted to let everyone know at the Fertility and Pregnancy Institute that I will be 23 weeks pregnant with a baby boy next week. I'm due May 20th. Thank you for everything. I can't wait to continue to use your protocol, because you do continue your trimester protocol throughout pregnancy with some modifications, which I teach you at every step in the trimester. And we also have a new pregnancy email that gives you some important reminders. And then you keep using it during birth, breastfeeding, and beyond for your own longevity, and also to keep preparing for your next super baby if you're going to continue to grow your family. And if you don't know what I'm talking about the trimester protocol, don't worry. I'm going to say one thing about that in just a minute. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. So now we're getting into the real meat of what we're talking about today. Okay, everybody? So we're going to talk about why conventional egg quality advice doesn't work. We're going to talk about your 23 vital egg cell components, and we're going to talk about the secrets to helping those components work well. I have so much material, it's very dense, so I didn't include all of it on the slides. So in addition to looking at the slides, you're gonna have to listen to me carefully, okay? Because it was so much information when I tried to put it all in the slides. I thought it's not gonna work well that way. So, okay. So follow me, because you haven't learned this information before. We are about to rock the house, because you're about to get new information that you've never heard before that can make all the difference for you. And I want you to have this, okay? So please pay attention. All right, so let's talk about first why common egg quality. I say egg in advice in general, but most of the advice out there is about egg quality. So first thing to know is that egg quality and ovarian reserve are multiply determined. That's a scientific term, but what it means is that for most people, they are determined not just by one thing, but by a collection of factors. So let me say a little bit more about this. So there are some exceptions. Like, for example, we've had some mamas who have had cancer and have had cancer treatment that has affected the function of their ovaries and the quality of their eggs. In that case, it can be just one thing that is affecting egg quality and ovarian reserve. There are also some genetic disorders that can also affect this. They're very rare and not many, but there are some, okay? So those are exceptions. For the vast majority of people, egg quality and ovarian reserve are multiply determined. And when it comes to both egg quality and ovarian reserve, but especially egg quality, the number one need that we have in order to have our best periods, our best conception, our best pregnancies, and our super babies, our healthiest, happiest, brightest, most well-adjusted, most neurocognitively strong babies that we can possibly have, is the need to overcome abnormality. And this need becomes increasingly important as biological age and chronological age increase, okay? So I'm going to say a little bit more about this in just a second, but let me tell you what I mean by chronological age versus biological age. So your chronological age is your age in years, and you have no control over that. I'm 46 years old. I was born on July 16th, 1978. And I can't change the date I was born. I can't change my chronological age. I will be 47 years old this year. What I do have control over, thankfully, because that's where our leverage is, and it's very intimately tied to our epigenetics. I'm going to explain this to you in just a second, is our biological age. And our biological age has to do with the age of our cells, the age of us as an organism on the inside. And you can also get a sense of someone's biological age on the outside, because skin and other parts of the outside often reflect the internal biological age. That might not always be the case, especially now that we have all kinds of interventions that people do to make themselves look much younger. But for a lot of people, when you're looking at them, if they haven't had work done or whatever it may be, you look at them and you can say, well, oh, she looks about for her age. So for me, she looks about 46 years old. No, she looks older than 46 years old. No, she looks younger than 46 years old. That's probably, not always, but probably some indication of my biological age on the inside. Okay, so that is where we have power, and that is very closely tied to, so the age of our cells affects our genetic expression, our epigenome. They're very closely tied to one another. So both our biological age and our epigenome, and the inheritance of our epigenome, which is called epigenetic inheritance. We pass down not just our genes, but also the expression of our genes to our super babies, our super grandbabies, and beyond. That's where we have all the leverage. And those are critical for our egg cell components, okay? Because our egg cells are just cells in the body, like all of the other cells in the body. So when we're looking at how old are our cells, we're also looking at how old are our egg cells. Our egg cells are the biggest cells in our bodies, but they're just another type of cells. Same thing with sperm cells, okay? All right, so we need to overcome, the number one need is to overcome abnormality. Why? Because as people get older in terms of biological and chronological age, there is a higher risk of errors in the eggs and in the sperm and in the way that they combine in the cell division process. And that is those errors and the abnormality that results from that is the number one root cause of all the things that anybody here is concerned about, okay? Uh, Eggs not being healthy, miscarriage, not being able to get pregnant in the first place, not being able to have a healthy pregnancy, not being able to have a healthy baby. The number one driver of all of those outcomes is abnormality that becomes more common with chronological age, but is also increasingly common in people with younger chronological age, because people are aging at an accelerated pace biologically. Okay. I know those are very hard concepts that I've just told you. Does everybody understand what I just said, or at least the gist of it? Mama Thoen, did I say that correctly? Thoen. I think I said that. Please let me know if I need to pronounce it a different way. Just kind of spell it out for me there. So what I mean by multiply, oh, tune. Thank you so much. So sorry, Mama Tune. So what I mean by multiply determined is that that our egg quality and ovarian reserve are determined by multiple factors working in concert. It's rare that it's just one thing that has affected or created the situation of egg quality or ovarian reserve or AMH. So if you have low AMH, put low AMH in the chat. That's going to be a lot of you. Put low AMH in the chat if you have low AMH. Let's see, let's see. Okay, so okay, Mama Lauren is asking, chronologically younger people are biologically older because they're aging faster. Today, yes, people are aging faster, which is one of the drivers behind why we see the rates of fertility challenges increasing, miscarriages increasing by 1% every year at least, diminished ovarian reserve, having children with neurocognitive and other kinds of delays and challenges. All of those share in common that root cause. And the reason why is this: we have this incredible mismatch between the modern world that we live in and the world that our reproductive biology evolved to function and thrive in. So, as that gap gets bigger and bigger, people are aging biologically at a faster rate. We call that accelerated wear and tear or accelerated aging in the sciences. And that is why we are seeing such high rates of fertility challenges. But get this, the rates of fertility challenges are growing even more in younger ages than in quote unquote older ages. Did that clarify your question, Mama Lauren? Okay, so we have Mama Simi, lowish AMH, Mama Luna low, Mama Erica low, Mama Anna low, Mama Nancy, Mama Chanel, Mama Jacqueline, Mama Eva, what's considered low? Below 1, yes. Mama Harmon, Mama Owana, Mama Sinead, Mama Erica, it jumps up and down, Mama Michaela, Mama Melissa, Mama Harmon. Okay. I get retested this week as I'm starting my new retrieval. Okay, Mama Mackenzie, we're surrounding you in all the love and super baby dust. Okay, so if you're somebody who has low AMH, then what that's saying is that it's not a perfect measure of ovarian reserve, but it's a measure of functional ovarian reserve. So what's interesting is that we now are seeing, once you reach the age of 40, it's pretty much expected that AMH is going to be declining and that it's not unusual for AMH to be below 1 at the age of 40 and beyond. But we're seeing a lot more people who are in their early 30s who have an AMH level of someone in their 40s. In fact, we have some of you have been referred by Mama Danica Breisha. She's a plus size model. She was the founder of Model Meals and is the founder of Self Care Society. And she found out in her early 30s that she had the fertility of someone in her 40s and that she probably needed to speed up the timeline in which she was planning to have children. She came to Primester. She's had 2 super baby girls with us, and she just got her AMH retested. And she shared about this on Instagram. I think we put it in one of our highlights on Instagram. We reshared it there, but her AMH level now is higher than it was, I believe, in 2019 after she's been primestering and having her super babies. And by the way, she had to have one of her ovaries removed, and the ovary got twisted, and while she was pregnant, and she had to have her ovary removed. So theoretically, her AMH level is half of what it would be if she had both of her ovaries, and it's still higher than it was in, I believe, 2019, when she first got tested and realized that she needed to probably have children sooner than expected. So that has been the result of prime mestering. That's how powerful that is. Okay. All right. So remember, come back to number one. So egg quality and ovarian reserve are multiply determined, in most cases, meaning that they're determined by multiple factors. So our mama Pooja, for example, who had cancer, and I believe had cancer and was treated for cancer twice, that is an example of a situation where egg quality and ovarian reserve might have not been multiply determined, that it's directly the result of one thing, which is the cancer. In her case, I'm not sure if that's true, but that's an example of an exception. For most people, they are multiply determined. Now, here are the two most important factors, and nobody's ever told you this before. One is psychogenomics, and the other is nutrigenomics. So when I'm talking about psychogenomics, I'm talking about personality, psychological, and sexual influences on your cells, your gene expression, and your biological age. Okay, this is all affecting your epigenetics. Nutrigenomics are nutritional impacts on your cells, your gene expression, and your biological age. Now, we are not going to talk about psychogenomics in this session because we're focused on nutrigenomics, but let me just give you a very high level overview of what I mean here, okay? So let me just say one thing, because my experience now, it's been 28 and a half years since I started this work, okay? The thing that I see, and that I see more and more, it's even shifted since I began this work in 1996, when I was 18 years and 2 months old and officially went into a pregnancy scientific laboratory at the University of Miami. I have seen that people really want a quick fix and an easy fix. And I wish there were such a thing, and there's really not. Uh, it requires work, and the psychogenomics part of the picture, in terms of determining the function of our egg cell components, egg maturation, egg quality, ovarian reserve, is even more work than the nutrigenomics part. So nutrigenomics, especially, that comes from two things: food, and if you're consuming nutrients in the form of drinks, food and drinks, and then supplementation. That is easier, simpler, especially when it comes to the supplementation part, right? Because it's just, opening the bottle and getting your capsules out, okay? So it's easy. I have our supplements all over my office. Can you see my hands I'm trying to show you these capsules, but I'm having trouble showing you. So it's easy, right? I'm just constantly taking them, and it's super easy. But when it comes to, oh, this is an unopened bottle. When it comes to the psychogenomics part, it's more complex, okay? And so if you want to address the psychogenomics part, that's where the trimester protocol comes in. In the trimester protocol, you want to be addressing the things that are listed here. You're addressing these things and so many more things. This is not exhaustive, but childhood trauma and adversity. By the way, all of these things listed here have clear scientific data showing their impacts on fertility and pregnancy and child or offspring outcomes. Okay, so we know that these things are so critical. Let me give you an example. So let's talk about childhood trauma and adversity. We know that women who report high adversity in childhood, including abuse and neglect, are up to 30%, or maybe it's 33%. I don't have that number in front of me, but off the top of my head, 30% more likely to experience fertility challenges. They're more likely to have menstrual difficulties, pregnancy complications, birth complications, and children with adverse outcomes. All right. So you're going to be addressing childhood trauma and adversity, adulthood trauma and adversity, shame, guilt, fear, worry, stress and anxiety, negative affect, which is another word for emotion and mood, negative thought loops, that's a big thing, intergenerational conditioning and epigenetic inheritance. We talked a little bit about that already. Aspects of your identity that are maybe not promoting your healthiest fertility and pregnancy, and then personality characteristics. So these are some examples of personality characteristics that we know predispose people to having uh, early diminished ovarian reserve, low AMH, problems with fertility, pregnancy complications, etc. Type A personality characteristics: hostility, urgency, aggressiveness, being critical of the self and others, competitive, time pressured, easily stressed, expecting the worst, seeing the worst constantly, a tendency to experience negative emotions frequently and intensely. These are examples of personality characteristics, okay? So as you can see, the psychogenomics, so we have two, so we know that egg quality and ovarian reserve, just as a recap, are multiply determined. They are determined by multiple factors. And the two most critical categories of factors are psychogenomics and nutrigenomics. Psychogenomics is a very complex picture. It is not a quick fix. You have to be willing to do the work. If you are willing to do the work and you haven't yet trimestered, you need this part of the picture. You can't overlook this part of the picture, although I know people like to try to overlook this part of the picture or don't even realize that they need it. So if you're somebody who hasn't trimestered yet, now's a good time to put in the chat to hosts and panelists and let the team get you what you need to be able to move forward with your trimester so you can address this category of factors in great detail, okay? It's not easy, it's work, it takes commitment. You got to be willing, like I said, what did I say in the beginning? We have to be willing to do whatever it takes for our super babies. And the more we do and we're willing to do up front, the easier it is all of the way through. Because think about it, life is much easier and much more beautiful when every possibility is open and available to your super babies. The kinds of ups and downs that we go through as a family because our two sons are playing for one of the most prestigious clubs, football clubs in the world, and our daughter is dancing competitively nationally and internationally. Those are beautiful ups and downs to be going through. Those are beautiful challenges to have. Those are the kinds of challenges you want to have, that they're making speeches to be class president at 6 years old and 8 years old. Those are the kinds of problems you want to have, okay? All right, so be willing to do whatever it takes. If you need this piece of the equation, you cannot overlook this piece of the equation. If you don't have it yet, go ahead and let us know so we can get you the information for that. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that, because we're going to focus the rest of the time today on nutrigenomics, which is nutritional impacts on your cells, gene expression, and biological age. All right, so now here, is everybody following me okay so far? Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Okay, team, I want to make sure that you're seeing, I see Mama Sinead's question. I don't have time to read the whole thing, but team, can you please look at that and just make sure that Mama Sinead has everything that she needs, okay? And then at the end, I'll try to come back to that, Mama Sinead. Okay, let's see. Okay. All right, all right. Mama Alice, are you in Pacific time, 1 p.m.? No, we'll be finished by 1 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be finished before then. All right, let's see. We'll talk about psychogenomics and nutrigenomics for the male partners or the person providing sperm in our part 2 next week. Okay, Mama Stacy? Okay, the team, it looks like you've already responded to Mama Sinead. Okay, so good. Let me see. Okay. Well, let me just say a quick thing about childhood trauma. I had a very scary childhood. I lost my mother at birth. That was bad enough. And then I was in foster care for 2 years, and my 5 siblings and I were raised by our dad, who loved us very much, but who was a freaking hot mess. Like in America, thousands of miles away from any family, any support, a genius who spoke 12 languages fluently, but couldn't hold a job, couldn't make any money. We were so poor. He was frustrated because of how beneath his potential he was living, and he didn't expect that it was going to be that way. And he became really violent, and it was just a complete, like, I hope no super babies are listening right now, just a complete shit show. I mean, the worst combination of neglect and abuse at the same time, just oh, so bad. And just it doesn't, obviously it doesn't take away the pain that you've been through, but I've done a lot of work, and a lot of that work is in the Primester protocol for you. And I am a living, breathing example that even though you have all these risks against you, that your fertility can still be beautiful, your pregnancies can still be beautiful, your super babies can still be absolutely amazing. So I want you to go into the Primester protocol. I want you to do the work. It will fundamentally change who you are in the best ways possible if you allow it to, and if you really go in and do the work. And that's what it takes. And it takes that every single day. Okay. So just because you have these risk factors doesn't mean that your fate is written and your fate is sealed. It's got to be, you have to have a combination of incredible will to do whatever it takes, like I said, and find the love for yourself and your super babies before you even have them. And then you just you have to bring in some faith, whatever your faith is, whatever you believe in, just believing in yourself, whatever it is. All right? Because when we are afraid and unhappy, it is hard for the brain and the body and the ovaries to register safety. And then our egg quality and our ovarian reserve and our uterus don't get to be the best that they can be. Okay. So I'm sorry for what happened to you. I'm sorry for what happened to me. And we can't do anything about that. But what we can do is what's in front of us right now. Okay. It doesn't have to be that your fate is sealed. You choose differently for yourself so your super babies can have better. My super babies are so much more amazing than I will ever be. And thank God, because that's exactly what I wanted. And that's exactly what I have. And that's exactly what they have. And you know, I am handsomely rewarded no matter what I've been through, and you can be too. Okay. So just get in there and do whatever it takes. That's what we've got to do, especially when we started with nothing, and like not just zero, but negative, because we were told constantly that we don't mean anything. I'm writing my next book proposal, and one thing that I've been thinking a lot about, this is a little bit of a detour, but one thing I've been thinking a lot about is that fundamentally, fertility challenges are a disease of a lack of belonging and a lack of worthiness and a lack of safety. And so you've got to, I'm sorry if your mom, your dad, your caregivers couldn't give that to you. Mine certainly didn't give it to me, but you've got to give them to yourselves, and you've got to find the way and do whatever it takes. And we give you a lot of tools in the Primester to do that, okay? It is possible, I promise you. Okay, so your 23 vital egg cell components. Okay, so I am going to, I'm going to give you, so I just have a really quick overview written here, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about why each one is important so that you understand, okay? Okay, so the first one is so this is each egg cell. Each egg cell has these 23 critical components, okay? The first component is the plasma membrane. So this acts as the first point of contact with the sperm and regulates entry and communication during fertilization. When it fails, there's reduced membrane fluidity, which makes fertilization difficult, and the egg becomes less receptive to sperm. Oxidative damage, which accumulates over time, so it's is one of the pathways where age affects the egg cells and the quality of eggs. Oxidative damage compromises its protective function, leading potentially to failed fertilization. The second component is the cytoplasm. This is the powerhouse of the egg, and it provides energy and houses the essential materials for early embryo development. When it fails, the reduced mitochondrial function limits energy production, impairing fertilization and embryonic development. And fragmentation in the cytoplasm can result in developmental arrest of a fertilized egg, okay? All right, third part, cortical granules. This prevents polyspermy. I'll define that for you in just a second, by releasing enzymes that harden the zona pellucida, which is the outer shell. I'm going to tell you more about that in just a second as well, after sperm entry. So what do I mean by polyspermy? Polyspermy is when multiple sperm or the possibility of multiple sperm getting inside the egg. The egg cell has all kinds of protective functions to ensure that only one sperm can fertilize the egg and that it's the right sperm. So it's kind of like a process of survival of the fittest in terms of the egg cell or the egg selecting the right sperm to fertilize. I have a friend, Kate Northrup, and she calls this egg wisdom. And there is incredible biochemical wisdom in the egg, okay? Without the proper cortical granule function, multiple sperm could fertilize the egg, leading to chromosomal abnormalities and failed embryo development. Okay, fourth component, the nucleus. So this safeguards and organizes the egg's DNA, orchestrating meiosis and fertilization. Okay, so damaged DNA, when the function is failing or it's not working in tip-top shape, the damaged DNA leads to poor quality embryos, higher miscarriage rates, and possibly what they say is infertility. Now, we don't use that word. We use fertility challenges instead, because most people are not truly infertile or truly sterile, okay? Chromosomal segregation errors can also occur, which can cause aneuploidy. So that's when there are too many chromosomes or too few chromosomes. Okay, the nucleolus, this is the fifth component. Let me just make sure I'm following the slides here perfectly. Okay. This produces ribosomes needed for protein synthesis during early embryo development, and the lack of ribosomal production disrupts protein synthesis, leading to embryo developmental arrest or failure. This is actually really interesting because there's also a role of sperm in the problem of protein synthesis. And while this isn't directly caused by people, having a vegan or vegetarian diet, there can be indirect influences of amino acid profile and other things on protein synthesis. And we have some really interesting research on protein intake and adverse fertility and pregnancy outcomes in mamas, but also in maybe especially in dadas. So remember, dadas are always at least 50% of the equation. That's really important. I'll talk more about that in the part 2 session that we're gonna have together, okay? All right, number 6, the zona pellucida. So you've already heard me mention this. So this is the outer shell of the egg, and it enables sperm binding and protects the egg from polyspermy, which is multiple sperm going in, as you already know. So structural deficiencies can allow multiple sperm entry or hinder sperm binding, resulting in fertilization failure or chromosomal defects. All right, let me go to the next slide here. Okay, we're continuing. Everybody following me so far? So right now, I'm just giving you a quick overview of the 23 vital components of your egg cells, what they do, and why they're important, and what happens if they're not working properly. Everybody good so far? Let's see. Okay, it looks like it. Let me know if you're following so far. Everything's good. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mama Anna. I appreciate that. Okay, the mitochondria, most of you have heard of mitochondria before. We often think of this as the powerhouse of the cells. It generates ATP, the energy currency for all cellular processes, including meiosis, which is a process of cell division, and fertilization. So aging reduces mitochondrial efficiency, leading to insufficient energy for successful egg maturation and embryo development. The endoplasmic reticulum, so this is number 8, regulates calcium signaling, which is crucial for egg activation post-fertilization. Poor calcium signaling can prevent fertilization and block embryo activation. Number 9, the Golgi apparatus. This packages proteins and lipids that are critical for embryonic cell division. Misfolded or improperly packaged proteins disrupt cellular communication and development. Number 10, microtubules and cytoskeletal network. These facilitate chromosome alignment and segregation during cell division. Cytoskeletal damage leads to chromosome misalignment and increases the risk of aneuploidy and infertility, or fertility challenges, as we say. Number 11, cumulus cells. So these provide nutrients, hormones, and signaling molecules to support egg maturation. Poor communication or oxidative damage to cumulus cells leads to underdeveloped eggs and decreased fertilization rates. Peroxisomes. These detoxify harmful reactive oxygen species and regulate lipid metabolism. So harmful reactive oxygen species can accumulate more and more with time. So this is another thing that becomes exacerbated with aging. Oxidative stress overwhelms the egg, damaging DNA, proteins, and membranes, which reduces the viability of the egg. So this is another, like I said, another pathway through which aging affects the quality of eggs. All right, so let me see, come over here to number 13 for you. Number 13, the maternal organizing centers, MTOCs for short. These direct microtubule assembly for accurate chromosome segregation during meiosis. errors in the MTOCs result in spindle instability, causing chromosomal abnormalities. Number 14, the polar bodies. These discard excess chromosomes during meiosis, ensuring the egg has the correct genetic material. Incomplete or improper extrusion leads to chromosomal imbalances, and that reduces the viability of embryos, whether it's through natural conception or through IVF. The cytoplasmic lattices. These store RNA and proteins needed for earlier embryo development, and degradation of these structures limits the embryo's ability to grow and divide, causing developmental arrest. So what you can see is that each of these parts contains the pieces of information that will become your super baby. So what we need is for them to retain the integrity of that information and to be able to communicate that information effectively. All right, so that we're going to talk. So I'm just going to finish running through the 23 parts, and then I'm going to show you the ways that we can use nutrigenomics to achieve those goals of preserving the integrity of the information and ensuring that the information is communicated properly. Let me just make sure that everyone is following me so far. Yeah, so Mama Sinead, I love this so much because she says that this reminds us that we are all miracles. So it's so true. If you think about it, in the size of a hair follicle, you have these 23 components that are so powerful, and they mean so much in your life, in your super baby's life, and in, you know, the generations beyond. And that every single one of us is an incredible miracle, that this one egg and this one sperm met, and that all of the division happened properly. And it's so intricate, and at so many stages, so many things can go wrong. And yet for the vast majority of the time, everything goes right, and that we are a miracle, each one of us. So when people say to you, your super or your baby is so unlikely, and it would be a miracle if you had a baby, you can take that as, oh my God, you know, my chances are so low, my chances are so poor. Or you can say, yeah, we're all miracles. And guess what? There are 8 billion examples of these miracles walking the planet today, or almost 8 billion. So even though we are all miracles, those miracles are very commonplace. And a few months ago, I wrote you an email about the exact likelihood of you being you. And it is so minuscule. It's mind-boggling, truly mind-bending. Maybe we'll resend that email in maybe tomorrow or sometime this week. So I can reiterate for you just what Mama Sinead said, which is that we are, each one of us, such miracles. And yes, your super babies are miracles too. And those miracles are very commonplace. Okay. All right. So let me see. Where were we? Okay, so we did the cytoplasmic lattices. Yeah, I think I already did that. Okay, the peravitelline space. This provides a buffer zone where the sperm interacts with the zona pellucida and the plasma membrane. When it fails, structural irregularities hinder fertilization or allow abnormal sperm entry. So one of the things to take away is that when the egg is working well, it helps to be like a kind of a funnel or a weeding out process to pick a hardier sperm, so that survival of the fittest is in operation and working to your and your super baby's advantage. Okay, number 17, we're almost there through the whole 23 components. Zinc sparks and zinc vesicles. Zinc ion release triggers egg activation and embryo development. Insufficient zinc sparks delay or prevent activation, which can halt fertilization. Number 18, the spindle apparatus. There's some really interesting research and early clinical trials on intervening in this part of the egg cell component. It's really interesting. I think it's too early for it to actually be used, but it's showing some interesting results and some promise. Spindle apparatus, it aligns and segregates chromosomes during meiosis. When it fails, misaligned chromosomes can result in aneuploidy, and which is, of course, a leading cause of miscarriage and fertility challenges. So I'm using the word aneuploidy here, but think of it as abnormality, which is what I said earlier. Let me come back here so I can just remind you of, okay. So remember, the number one need is to overcome abnormality. And another word for that is aneuploidy, because most of the forms of abnormality have to do with chromosomal abnormalities. There can also be neural tube and other sorts of defects, but more often than not, it's about chromosomal abnormalities. And something really important for you to understand, if I haven't said this clearly or explicitly, is that once the egg is released in ovulation and the sperm is released in ejaculation, there's nothing that we can do to affect and improve the quality of the egg and the sperm at that point, and how they will combine and the quality of the embryo that will be made from the sperm fertilizing the egg. Okay, so once the release happens, our power is very much diminished. Okay, when it comes to abnormality, almost everything has to be addressed before conception in the trimester, and it has to be addressed before the egg and sperm not just are released, but before they initiate and complete their maturation process, because it's during that final maturation process where we can create positive change. That has to happen 120 days before the egg is released. And if you have 5 or 6 months, even better. Okay, that's why the trimester is a minimum of 120 days. We do have some people who do an accelerated 60-day trimester, but it's not recommended because you can't accrue the full effects that you need in a 60-day trimester. For the sperm, it's a little bit shorter. It's if I remember the numbers exactly off the top of my head, it's somewhere between 72 and 96 days. So it's a little bit shorter than what we need for the egg. Okay, but we just do the same length trimester for both egg and sperm, 120 days. Everybody following me so far? Everybody good so far? I know this is a lot of information. It's a lot of new information. I will be sure to send you, even though we're not going to send the replay, I'll send you some email recaps, okay? All right, and I will also send you, yeah, Mama Erica, I loved writing that email as well. I'll also resend you the What a Miracle You Are email, so you can see the odds of you being you. The odds of your super baby being your super baby. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, let's keep going. So we did up until the spindle apparatus, I believe. Okay, so let's keep going here. So the germinal vesicle. This houses immature DNA and oversees chromatin remodeling during egg maturation. I've written you a lot about chromatin in maybe November and December, but I'll send you some reminders and recaps for that as well, because that's really important too. Okay, when it fails, errors in chromatin remodeling lead to genetic instability and poor embryo quality. Number 20, transzonal projections. These connect the cumulus cells and the egg, facilitating nutrient exchange, and signal exchange. When it fails, impaired communication decreases egg quality and disrupts the egg maturation process. Number 21, the cortical actin cap. This provides structural support during fertilization, ensuring polarity. When it fails, the disrupted polarity affects embryo symmetry and development. Number 22, the zona pellucida and the zona pellucida domain proteins. This is critical for sperm binding and preventing polyspermy, which we've also talked about. So as you can see, there are multiple mechanisms within the egg cell component to attract the sperm and to ensure that only one sperm enters and fertilizes the egg. Okay, number 23, the specialized secretory vesicles. These release enzymes that modify the zona pellucida post-fertilization. And when it fails, incomplete modification of the zona pellucida allows polyspermy, that can then lead to, or does then lead to, chromosomal abnormalities. Okay, so this is an overview of the 23 critical components within your tiny, tiny egg cells. Now, let's talk about the nutrients that can help to ensure these two things that we want to achieve. So remember, they're one of them, and both of these things help to prevent abnormality, including aneuploidy, which is responsible for fertilization of the egg not happening in the first place, fertilization of the egg resulting in a chemical pregnancy, fertilization of the egg resulting in a miscarriage, fertilization of the egg resulting in a baby and a pregnancy that are not viable, and a baby that's not healthy enough to live outside of the uterus due to abnormalities. So most of the time, abnormalities lead to early miscarriage or miscarriage before 10 weeks and earlier. Sometimes abnormality doesn't result in miscarriage, and the pregnancy can continue, but the developing baby isn't healthy enough to be able to live outside of the uterus or to live long term. Okay? That's why it's so important that we focus on these two things, which is the preservation and maintenance of the integrity of the information in each of the cellular egg cell components, and the effectiveness of that egg cell component to communicate that information, or the efficacy to communicate that information. Everybody understands so far? So now we're going to dive into the specific nutrients, and I have a long list of nutrients. And I'm going to show you how it supports those two things, the information integrity and the communication. Is everybody good so far? Just let me know. I'll take a sip of my drink. Just let me know how you're doing. Okay, great. So thank you, Mama Stacy. Mama Katarzynia's here. Hi, Mama. Mama Mackenzie. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you're here. All right, so let's talk about it. And okay, so we're gonna talk about key nutrients. Now, I'm gonna go over a list of key nutrients, and I want you to know that this is a long list, and it might be a little bit overwhelming, but I'm gonna go over the list in alphabetical order, and I'm gonna show you, it's not exhaustive, but I'm gonna show you examples of how those nutrients act upon those egg cell components, okay? And if you are already using our, we have a bundle where it's all together. If you're already using the ultimate egg collection, or the ultimate egg and sperm collection, then you do not have to worry because you already have all of these nutrients covered for you, okay? So if you are already using the Complete Mama bundle, which has the super multi, let me show you this here. Is this it? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So if you are already using this combination of nutrients, so the Complete Mama bundle, which has the super multi and we have our second generation probiotic that we just got and is shipping. So it's the super probiotic microbiome support. So the Complete Mama bundle has these two, the super multi and the probiotic microbiome support. Then the super egg support, the super melatonin, the super DHEA with pregnenolone, and the super neuro and MTHFR support, which is our second generation of our neural tube chromosomal and MTHFR support. Okay, so if you are already using this combination of nutrients, then you already have all of the nutrients in the list covered. Okay, that's exactly why they're in here, because they're the ones that have the most scientific support behind them. All right, and same thing if you're doing the ultimate egg and sperm bundle, which is all of these things for mama plus the complete dada part of the Complete Mama and Dada bundle. Okay, then you're already, if you're doing this one or you're doing the other one, this one is for you and Dada if you have a male partner. The other one is just your nutrients. If you're doing those, you have all of the nutrients covered already. Is there anybody here who is not doing all of these nutrients? Let me just get a link, a gauge of that. I just want to see. So let me just walk through a couple of things about this. So first of all, some of you are some of you have a subscription to the Complete Mama bundle or the Complete Mama and Dada bundle and the super egg support. Okay, and maybe you don't already have the melatonin, the DHEA with pregnenolone, and the super neuro and MTHFR support. So if you want to switch to the ultimate egg collection, which is all of the things that you could possibly need, all of the things in the list that I'm about to walk through for you, then let us know. Put it in the chat. And I believe, team, am I wrong in saying that you can transfer and like switch their subscription? Let me know, because I don't want to cause a problem by saying that, but I believe the team can help you change your subscriptions so that you're receiving all of this. Now, if you don't have these things, team, can you drop okay, so the team said yes, they can update your subscription for you. So if you have only parts of this for yourself and your partner, if you have a male partner, put your all your first name, last name, phone number, email address, time zone, and the team can switch your subscription. There will be a difference in price, of course, right? Because it contains more, but they can switch your subscription. Now, let me do something for you. Let me get you all a code. Hold on a second. So let me just think. Am I going to cause a problem if I do this? Team, can you provide a 20% off code that for subscriptions, not for a one-time purchase, but for subscriptions for the ultimate egg collection and the ultimate egg and sperm collection, so that mamas can do either one, whichever one. Obviously, if you have a male partner, it's best to do the egg and sperm collection, because you already know that the sperm is at least 50% of the equation, and sometimes it's even more than 50% of the equation. The other thing I want you to know is, okay, we have the most amazing second generation formulation about to be available for pre-order for the dadas, for the sperm, for the male, that's called super sperm and testosterone support. Some of you have heard me talk about it because we've been working on this for so long. Okay, so let me just show you. It combines everything that's in the complete dada part of the complete mama and dada bundle. So right now that's the prime male, which is already an exquisite sperm focused formulation. The super probiotic microbiome support, the choline, the DHEA, and the vitamin D3. Now, all of those 5 bottles have been put into one with the addition of at least a dozen enhancements in terms of sperm and testosterone and biological age focused nutrients, as well as we've moved it over to our new incredible manufacturing process where we're able to manufacture without any inactive ingredients whatsoever, which no other company can do. And we can only do it because we make these tiny, tiny batches, okay? So this formulation is amazing. It is going to be very generously priced at $750 per month for a 1-month supply. I know it sounds crazy to say that a $750 a month supplement is generously priced, but it costs us so many hundreds of dollars to make it that it is very generously priced at $750. Now, here's the thing. We are going to do our very best to continue to honor the current first generation Dada subscription price for the second generation. So what does that mean? If you are already locked into the ultimate egg and sperm collection, you are locking in the first generation price for the dada part. So when the second generation starts to ship and it's 750 for everybody else, you will be locked in at a price that is almost half of that price. Now, we don't know if we'll be able to continue that indefinitely, but our commitment is to try to do that for as long as possible and to do that for at least 6 months. Okay, so if you're not already locked in to the dada part through the egg and sperm collection, now would be a very good time to do that before the pricing increases to the second gen pricing because of the super sperm and testosterone support for dadas. Okay, did everybody follow me? That was a lot of information. It's a lot of detail, a lot of complexity that I've been working on for you in the background, so it may not be perfectly clear, but can everybody just tell me that you understood that? Everybody clear? Let's see. Okay, so let's see. So Mama Julie's asking, is the ultimate egg collection cheaper than the individual substitutions? It is cheaper than getting each thing separately. Absolutely. The collection is always going to be cheaper than buying the individual products. Absolutely. All right. Well, if you don't already have the subscription for the dadas, then you can just ask the team to switch you to the dada one, the one that includes both the egg and sperm formulations, so that you can get locked into the pricing. So you just ask. Okay, thank you so much, Mama Robin, for letting me know that you understood that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the team, everybody, okay, the team is working on, I just kind of sprung this on them. So they're working on a 20% savings code for the ultimate egg collection and the ultimate egg and sperm collection. If you just want the super egg support, because if financially you can't do all of them, then the team will also give you $150 savings for the super egg support by itself on subscription. But obviously you get a much better deal from packaging everything together in the egg collection or the egg and sperm collection. And like I said, this is an important time if you're going to want the super sperm and testosterone support for your partner, and it's amazing, then this is a good time to lock that in. So team, if you can just put the links for the super egg, the ultimate egg collection, the ultimate egg and sperm collection, with a code that you're making for them for savings on their subscription. It doesn't work on a one-time purchase, by the way, okay? And then we'll also, if you can team put the super egg support link by itself with a $150 code for the subscription, that would be wonderful. And by the way, we're only going to lock in the pricing for the active subscriptions. So if your pricing, if your subscription is on hold, or it's canceled, now's the time to activate it so that you lock it in. Okay. All right. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let me get back to the material so that I can keep teaching you, and we can finish in the next 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, everybody. Okay, Mama Julie, if you, okay, thank you for bringing that up. Let me say a couple things here. So Mama Julie just said that I can't have the DHEA with pregnenolone because I have PCOS. Thank you very much. I've mentioned that many times. If you have PCOS, I don't recommend the DHEA with pregnenolone. Actually, because our DHEA has pregnenolone, which is a very unique feature of our DHEA, it's less of a risk for PCOS, but we like to err on the side of caution. So I don't recommend that you take any DHEA supplement, including ours. DHEA is not to be confused with DHA, by the way. That's DHA with EPA. Those are omega-3 fatty acids, and we all need them for our eggs, our sperm, and our super baby's brain, etc. Okay, so if you're somebody who has PCOS, or you suspect you have PCOS because you have symptoms of PCOS, which can include loss of hair on the head, hair on the face, acne, and insulin resistance, especially carrying weight in the midsection, and very long, unusually long cycles, and ovulatory cycles where there isn't ovulation. All of those can be, they don't have to be symptoms of PCOS, but those can be symptoms of PCOS. If you have PCOS because because you've been diagnosed, or you suspect that you do, then what we want to do is create a version of the ultimate egg collection for you, minus the super DHEA with pregnenolone. So team, I'm sorry to spring that on you as well, but could you do that and then provide that as an alternative? Or if that's relevant to you, put your name, first name, last name, email address, phone number, time zone, and the word PCOS in the chat to hosts and panelists, and let the team work with you while we're here on the meeting to get you a modified version of the ultimate egg collection or the ultimate egg and sperm collection, and a code, both a special bundle collection for you and a special code for you. Okay. All right. So I think that was, let me see. Okay. If you need, if you're like Mama Erica said, she wants help figuring out how to adjust her plan. If you need that, let's try to do it while we're here together, because like I said, that the outreach, like we have hundreds of people here. We have hundreds of messages in the chat. So what we want to do is try to get you taken care of now. So why don't you, if that's you, if you need help figuring out which supplements to get, or how you want to change your subscription to the collection, one of the collections, put the details in to hosts and panelists. let us try to take care of it for you on the meeting. I really think that's the best way. Otherwise, we don't get to it in a timely fashion whatsoever. Okay, let's keep going with the key nutrients. Okay, everybody. So keep putting everything that you need and let the team take care of you. Sorry, I'm springing some things on you out of nowhere, team, but hopefully you can do them easily. Okay. All right. So let's talk about key nutrients. So I'm going to go through, this isn't an exhaustive list of the, let's see, in the super egg support, we have 39 different nutrients that have been validated in the scientific literature for egg quality, ovarian reserve, the reduction of cellular and biological age, and reproductive longevity, including increasing ovarian function by up to 20% and delaying the onset of menopause by up to 5 years. This is also a very it's the most potent egg quality, ovarian reserve, and reproductive longevity supplement on the planet. And the super sperm and testosterone support is the male counterpart of that, okay? And so because of that, they're also the most potent, broader longevity formulations on the planet. So obviously you're using them for egg and sperm, but then after you give birth and you finish breastfeeding, you can go back on the super egg support for mamas, and dads can stay on the super sperm and testosterone support. Okay. All right. Okay, let's keep going here. So, oh wait, I was about to say, this is not an exhaustive list. So we have 30, I believe 39 nutrients in the super egg support. In the super multi team, can you count for me? I think we have about 35 nutrients there, and they are meant to not overlap except where the dosages of certain nutrients need to be higher for the purposes of egg quality and ovarian reserve. So one example of that, two examples. One is zinc and one is selenium. Another one is vitamin C. There are just a couple things like that where we have specific dosages in the super multi, because you continue the super multi throughout pregnancy, okay? But we have additional doses of those on top of what's in the super multi in the super egg support, because the scientifically validated doses are higher for egg quality and ovarian reserve. So for the most part, they don't have overlap, with the exception of a couple critical nutrients that we need to add on higher doses to get to the full dose needed for egg quality and ovarian reserve, okay? Let me know if you didn't understand that. But so we have 39 nutrients, and they're all needed in the super egg support. And then we have, I think it's 34 in the super multi, but the team can count and let me know the exact amount. And then you also have the melatonin, the probiotic microbiome support, which has a number of different strains, which have been studied within the context of fertility, pregnancy, intergenerational health, the epigenetic programming in utero and beyond, and then also the gut-brain axis and the mother of our fertility system, which is our digestion. Then you have the DHEA with pregnenolone. The super neuro and MTHFR support has 3 critical nutrients, which are methylated B6, methylated B9 or 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, and then methylated B12. So among all those things, there are, I don't know, 75 different nutrients that are critical for your eggs. And I don't have an exhaustive list here, but I'm going to give you a pretty detailed list, okay? All right, so let's keep going so I can teach you about these and how the mechanisms through which they work, okay? So acetyl L-carnitine. So this particular nutrient enhances mitochondrial function, energy production, and reduces oxidative stress in eggs by aiding fatty acid metabolism and stabilizing cell membranes. It supports beta oxidation in eggs and prevents free radical-induced DNA damage, crucial for maintaining egg quality and for making a chromosomally healthy embryo. It improves hormonal balance in the follicular environment via the hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis. You hear me talk constantly in the trimester protocol about the HPTAO axis, which is the hypothalamic pituitary thyroid adrenocortical ovarian or gonadal axis. For males, it's the testes. For women, it's the ovaries. And its antioxidant properties combat oxidative stress, slowing cellular aging. Okay. Now, alpha lipoic acid. So I'm going in alphabetical order of the sample that I'm giving you here. It's a potent antioxidant that scavenges free radicals or reactive oxygen species, protecting the DNA in the eggs and the cellular structures. It restores meiotic competence. This is related to cellular division in eggs exposed to oxidative damage or environmental stressors. And of course, those things, we're all experiencing those things every single day, but they're accumulating over time, which is why it becomes more of an issue with age or with older biological age, even in younger chronological aged people. It enhances antioxidant recycling to create a protective environment for the follicles, a protective microenvironment. It reduces oxidative damage to reproductive cells, preserving their functional integrity, especially over time. Ashwagandha. This is an adaptogenic herb. It has adaptogenic properties that help to regulate cortisol levels and to reduce stress-induced hormonal imbalances that can impair follicular development. And it may mitigate oxidative stress and improve cellular resilience through its antioxidant effects. This one is also in the sperm and testosterone support because it's also really important for male fertility. Okay, astragalus extract. This contains compounds that activate telomerase, potentially preserving telomere length and delaying cellular aging. So the more we can preserve telomere length, the more biologically youthful we can remain. It's an anti-inflammatory. It has anti-inflammatory properties to support a healthier ovarian microenvironment. Okay, benfotiamine. This is a derivative of vitamin B1. It reduces advanced glycation end products, which can damage egg proteins and DNA. Bioflavonoid complex. It's an antioxidant-rich compound to improve vascular health and reduce oxidative stress in the ovarian environment. And remember, when we're improving vascular health, we're also improving blood flow, including to the reproductive organs. Then we have boron, which supports estrogen metabolism, indirectly influencing follicle health and maturation. Chromium, which regulates insulin sensitivity, and this is critical for hormonal balance and affecting follicular development. And it's really important to know that dysregulation in insulin and blood sugar is profoundly aging to the entire organism, including to the egg cells. And it is one of the things that can rapidly decrease ovarian reserve as well as egg quality. And it's a big problem for people in our modern world, even people who don't realize that they're having problems with regulating insulin and blood sugar. CoQ10, this is one that a lot of you know about and maybe already take. This boosts mitochondrial energy production in eggs while reducing oxidative damage, and it delays mitochondrial aging in eggs, improving their developmental potential. Mamas, tell me, do you want me to keep going through more of the sampling of nutrients that I've prepared for you? Let's see. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Oh, thank you, Mama Simi. I know that this is really technical information, and I went back and forth, but I think what's really important is I'm really I want I want us to do things that really make a difference and really move the needle. I'm tired of all of the generic advice that I'm seeing. I once clicked on a fertility ad because on Instagram because I was completely shocked that there was like a type. It was it was one sentence and there was a typo in it, and I'm like, is this for real? Like, is this really happening? And then ever since I did that, I'm just bombarded with ads and information. And as much as I'm glad it happened because I see what happened. I see what happens to you. By the way, this happened like a year and a half ago, so it's been a while. I talked about this when it first happened, but I'm so fed up with all the BS that's out there. I'm like, it's not just taking CoQ10. It's not just eating bone broth. It's not just meditating. We need to really understand this in detail. And we need to do things that are really moving the needle. And I know that we already have covered everything that can possibly matter in the psychogenomics part and broader things in the Primester protocol, because by the way, the Primester protocol is not just psychogenomics, it's also nutrigenomics. It's everything. It's your entire life, your entire self. But when it comes to supplements, I see, I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I know these supplements are crazy expensive because they're crazy expensive to make because they are the most potent in the world. And that's what it's going to take. Like it's CoQ10 alone is not going to make the difference. And I've seen this egg quality supplement that has 5 ingredients, and I'm like, is this really going to change anything for anyone? I don't think that we can keep going on this way because we there's more and more and more information out there. You're bombarded with information. You have access to so much information. And yet egg quality and ovarian reserve and fertility and pregnancy outcomes and the health of the children that people are having, they've never been worse. So all this information is not making any difference. And look, I'm not sitting here like toiling over this for 100,000+ hours of my life for this to not really make a difference. I want this to change things once and for all. So that's I know this is very technical information. It's very detailed information, but I believe that that's what it's going to take. You don't have to remember everything today. We created the done for you solutions. If you want to just use those, use those. And if you don't, for whatever reason, use them, then I will keep reminding you over email. Okay. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay. All right, so let's talk about dihydroberberine. This is a superior form of berberine, which some of you have heard of. It's a more bioavailable form of berberine, and it exhibits dose-dependent effects. So it reduces intracellular reactive oxygen species to protect the DNA in eggs and cellular structures as well, okay? Now, dihydroberberine also enhances egg maturation and fertilization rates by promoting oxidative homeostasis, and it improves metabolic health by regulating glucose and lipid metabolism. And this can help to create a healthier follicular environment. It also reduces the biological age of cells by reducing oxidative stress and supporting mitochondrial function and delaying egg aging. All right, glutathione. This is a master antioxidant that protects eggs from oxidative stress and maintains mitochondrial integrity, and it slows biological aging of cells by enhancing cellular detoxification processes. Grapeseed extract. This is rich in proanthocyanidins, and it's a potent antioxidant that protects eggs from oxidative damage by scavenging radical oxygen species and improving mitochondrial function. It enhances vascular health and reduces inflammation within the ovarian microenvironment to support follicular development. And its antioxidant properties can combat oxidative stress for slower cellular and biological aging. Decaffeinated green tea extract. This contains catechins with strong antioxidant properties that protect eggs from radical oxygen species induced damage. It's very important that this is dosed properly, as it is in the super egg support, because at higher doses, it can actually have some adverse effects on hormonal balance. So you have to be very careful if you're using a formulation that has this somewhere else. You have to make sure that it's not dosed too high, or if you're, if for some reason you decide to do this individually, if you decided to do all of these nutrients individually, it would cost you way more than our ultimate egg collection does. And you would also have to take far more capsules every single day. I believe somewhere in the range of 55 capsules a day you would have to take if you were doing each of the nutrients individually, but you would also be paying more. You'd have to make sure that you're choosing the right forms, and that and then you'd still be taking supplements that have inactive ingredients as well with the active ingredients. Okay. L-citrulline. So this boosts nitric oxide production. We talked a lot about nitric oxide production to improve blood flow to the ovaries and enhancing nutrient delivery to the follicles. And it improves ovarian perfusion, which may indirectly support egg maturation and egg quality by optimizing the local environment. Lutein. This is a carotenoid with strong antioxidant properties that protects egg membranes from lipid peroxidation, and it reduces inflammation in the ovarian microenvironment to promote healthier follicular development. It also slows cellular aging by mitigating oxidative stress. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant that protects DNA and lipids in eggs from oxidative damage. It reduces radical oxygen species levels in the reproductive cells to preserve their functional integrity over time. This is another one that's in the super egg and sperm, in the super sperm and testosterone support, in addition to the super egg support. Maca extract. This is an adaptogenic form of a nutrient that these properties help to regulate hormonal balance, particularly estrogen levels, which are critical for proper follicular development, and they may improve ovarian function and support egg quality through this hormonal regulation. Mango extract, its antioxidant compounds may protect eggs from oxidative stress, and the polyphenols in mango extract can support a healthier follicular environment by reducing inflammation. But one of the primary mechanisms that mango extract exerts in the super egg support is to increase blood flow to the reproductive organs and to increase nitric oxide production. Micro PQQ. This enhances mitochondrial biogenesis and function in the egg cells, and it's crucial for energy production during maturation. It delays cellular aging by reducing mitochondrial dysfunction and oxidative stress. Then we have NAC, which is N-acetyl L-cysteine. NAC replenishes glutathione levels, a key intracellular antioxidant that protects eggs from radical oxygen species induced damage. It supports meiotic spindle integrity during oocyte or egg maturation by maintaining redox balance, and it reduces inflammation and oxidative stress in follicular fluid, slows aging of the cells and biological aging by protecting DNA and mitochondria from oxidative stress. I think that I am going to stop there because I have dozens more nutrients. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to continue to send you, what I'll do is I'll send a recap tomorrow with some of the highlights that we've covered today. And then over the course of a week or so, I will go over each of the nutrients in email so that you can continue to understand. What I think I should do right now is to look a little bit because, okay, so we're at the 2 hour mark, and which is great for me. I always want to stay with you as long as we need, but I want to make sure I've looked at the chat a little bit and see what supplements what supplement questions people have. And let me see. Okay. Let me see. Okay. Mama Andrea says, I'm only able, oh, okay, maybe I won't say that out loud actually, because I think that was sent to us privately. So I'll come back to that in a second. Let's see. Mama Eva is asking, how can we access the list? Do you mean the list of nutrients that I was just covering? I'll send them to you over email. So just keep an eye out because I'll send you, I won't send everything in one email. It's a lot of information, but over a week or so, I'll send you the information. Will we be able to continue to provide the codes? I'm not sure if you already know that you want the Ultimate Egg Collection or the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection. Please go ahead and grab the links and the codes now so that you have them. And if you need the team to assist you with switching over your subscription to the Ultimate Egg or the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection, please let the team know. Okay, let's see. Mama Julie, so you want to make sure that are you referring to the Ultimate Egg Collection or the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection? So you said I want to confirm that it includes what I'm currently subscribed to. It will, but let me just read through this. Super Egg Support, yes. Mama and Dada bundle, yes. So that's, you're going to use the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection. That will also lock you in for the first generation pricing for the Dada part. And even though you'll be receiving the second gen super sperm and testosterone support, which will be much more expensive. Extra neural tube and chromosomal care, yes. You have the super poops. Okay, that's not in it. It doesn't include that, but we have to make you not have to, we want to make you a separate Ultimate Egg and Sperm collection that takes out the super DHEA with pregnenolone. So since we're already making you your own, we'll put in the super poops. I think most people need super poops as well for the egg collection and the egg and sperm collection, but I didn't include it because not everybody understands how critical the electrolytes and the gut-brain axis is for their eggs and for their broader fertility. So that's why we didn't include it there. And also it's amazing. Like it's non-habit forming. It's gentle in terms of the nutrients, but it's powerful in terms of how it works. If you use it, you can't live without it anymore, and it's wonderful. Okay, so team, for Mama Julie and anyone else who let you know that they have PCOS, can you create a second version of the Ultimate Egg and Sperm bundle that doesn't have the super pregnenolone, super DHEA with pregnenolone? And then can you add the super poops to Mama Julie's? Okay. Okay. So you should be totally fine. So you have everything covered and you'll do great with the super melatonin as well. All right, let's see. Can I get a link for the bundle? Okay, so Mama Allie's asking for the Ultimate Egg and Sperm collection. Um, Mama Erica, you should use the berberine and it will be wonderful. So that's already taken care of for you in the super egg support. You're so welcome, Mama Robin. Okay, Mama Eva. Okay, so I answered your question already. Um, Mama S asks, by taking these supplements, will we see changes in our Mira fertility monitoring? Yes, you should, based on the scientific data and also on the test sample. So actually, we haven't sent it to you yet. So we're sending out a survey for the super egg support and a few other things. And in that survey, you can see the list of things that you can expect to see changes in and in the order in which you can expect to see them. So obviously, it takes time for the effects to accrue. For example, in terms of egg quality and ovarian reserve and indicators of ovarian reserve, like your AMH level. But earlier on, you should see changes in your energy levels, potentially your improved mood, digestion. Within probably a month or two, you'll start to see an impact on your menstrual cycle. So there, you should be able to detect changes in your Mira maybe as early as month 2 even. So yes, okay, Mama Meredith, I would also love the list. Okay, so the list of nutrients. So like I said, we'll look for a first recap email from me tomorrow, and then little by little I'll cover all of the nutrients for you, okay? But if you want to use the codes, be sure to grab those and grab the links and use the codes today. So so Crystal has the Ultimate Egg Collection. So they sent you a 20% savings code for your subscription, which is Our Baby 20. So one word, all caps, Our Baby 20. And then the Ultimate Egg and Sperm Collection uses the same code, Our Baby 20. So grab the links for the egg collection, the egg and sperm collection. Somebody asks, that you can use, there's an option for Afterpay and PayPal. I tried to use it, but can't see where I can add as payment. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't know how to answer that question, but I believe Raina knows how to answer that question. So, Raina and Crystal, can you outreach Mama Janelle right now while we're on the call? You're so welcome, Mama Ali. I'm so glad you love this. Okay, everybody, so let's plan to meet again exactly 1 week from today. We'll send out the Zoom so you can RSVP, and then we'll meet on Wednesday. I don't know what date that is. Today's the 22nd, so it has to be the 29th. And it's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to go over changes to the egg cell components during and after fertilization and how the quality of the sperm affects the egg cell components, okay? And obviously the health of the conception, the health of the pregnancy, and the health of our super babies. Let's see. Okay. Why is Super Poops not part of the bundle? Okay, maybe we should have added. I didn't know if people would understand enough about it, but of course, it's amazing. Okay, maybe team, maybe I made a mistake in not asking you to include that. So maybe you can redo. Sorry, guys. Maybe you can redo the egg collection and the egg and sperm collection and add the Super Poops. And by the way, it is very, very powerful. So start with only 1 capsule of Super Poops at night before bed. And then you should wake up and have a wonderful bowel movement in addition to the electrolyte balancing, gut-brain communication, and other mineral benefits of Super Poops. If you need more than, so if you don't have a wonderful, very complete bowel movement when you wake up in the morning after one capsule, then take two the next night and calibrate, titrate up until you get the kind of bowel movement that you want in the morning. And if you find yourself at a dose where you wake up and you need to run to the bathroom because you need to poop urgently, then either you go back down one, or you spread out taking them during the day. So let's say you find that 3 is your sweet spot, but there's a little bit more urgency for your bowel movement in the morning than what you want. Then what you can do is take like maybe 1 3 times per day, or you take 1 in the morning or afternoon and then 2 at night. Play around with the dosaging until you get the bowel movement or movements that you want, because really, so everybody should be having a complete clean out first thing in the morning, because the body has done so much repairing and renewing the cells. All that waste needs to get out in the morning first thing. But really, a healthy digestive system is 1 meal in and a bowel movement out. So you want that really powerful bowel movement, cleansing movement in the morning for all of the repair that's happened and detoxification that's happened overnight. But you want to get to a place where each time you eat, you then are having a bowel movement. You're not bloating, you're not feeling overly full, you're not belching, that kind of thing, okay? All right, so it sounds like we should have put the super poops in there. It's a dream. Like you just wait until you try it. Okay, perfect. Okay, so Mama Andrea, I'm 42 and I just found out that I have MTHFR and high homocysteine. I've had 3 miscarriages in the last year. What dosages of the MTHFR and neural tube support should I take? Okay, I'm so glad you asked this question. Let me teach you things that I'm sure nobody has taught you before. Okay, so first thing is, we all have the MTHFR gene. We have 2 of them, one from our moms, one from our dads. And usually, sometimes they're the same, but often they're different. And there are multiple higher risk variants of those genes. So when somebody says to me, I have MTHFR, what they mean is they found out that they have one of the higher risk variants, one or both are higher risk variants of MTHFR gene, okay? Which a large percentage of the population has, by the way. These higher risk variants predispose us, I have them too, by the way, predispose us to hypomethylation, low methylation, which is an epigenetic process. And as we get older, we also become predisposed to hypomethylation, which means the underlying risk and predisposition becomes compounded and worsened, exacerbated by age. Now, this puts people at risk for higher homocysteine levels. I'm going to come back to this in just a second because it has very serious implications for reproductive longevity and outcomes, as well as longevity overall, but also for decreased ability to adequately detoxify. So the detoxification pathways underfunction, which means that reactive oxygen species can accumulate, toxic load accumulates more. Now, we're all exposed to these things, even just natural living, breathing, cellular processes. These are byproducts of them. And then we live in this modern world where we're exposed to thousands of chemicals every day. And depending on where you live, even more air pollution and things in the water and in the food for everybody and all of these things, okay? So then these things are accumulating even more for people with these higher risk variants. And so this combination of things increases the risk of fertility challenges, of not being able to get pregnant in the first place, of miscarriage like you have experienced, Mama Andrea, of adverse pregnancy and offspring outcomes. So it's very important that we address this, but let me also go back to saying something about homocysteine levels because almost nobody knows this. So high homocysteine levels are a very critical risk factor for cardiovascular events. So you have to get your homocysteine levels under control. But for your larger health and longevity. But in addition, high levels of homocysteine in follicular fluid have been associated with fertility challenges and miscarriage. So both the let me say that differently. The MTHFR, higher risk MTHFR gene variant that you have one or two of, I'm not sure, from your post here in the chat, and the higher homocysteine levels are to both, and the detoxification problems and the hypomethylation, all of that. Remember, multiply determined. So even with this one thing, there are multiple pathways at work. So these are all contributing to having difficulty getting pregnant and staying pregnant, and also increased risk for all kinds of problems with pregnancy and the child. So here's the thing. Thankfully, both these are very addressable. So this is wonderful. So I believe that you should be able, I don't know, Mama Andrea, I don't know if you're primestering, but I need you to do the full primester protocol. I would like to see you do the egg and sperm collection. And let's talk about this. So the good thing is that both MTHFR higher risk variants and homocysteine are easily addressed using the super neuro and MTHFR support. So what I recommend for you is that we know from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology and various scientific studies that in the case of known or suspected abnormality, particularly neural tube and other defects, but other types of abnormality, which, by the way, your miscarriages, if they happened by week 10 or sooner, especially if they happened by week 8 or earlier, were more than likely the result of abnormality, because we know that at least 60% of miscarriages in that time frame are the result of abnormality. That the recommendation is 4,000 micrograms of what they call B9, they call folic acid, but what you really want is the bioavailable natural form, which is the 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate, and a supportive amount of B12 that balances out the ratio. And then in the second generation, we've also added in an appropriate titrating dose of methylated B6 to support progesterone production, which is very important for the buildup of the uterine lining for the fertilized egg to be able to implant, and also for the progesterone levels during pregnancy, as well as reduced nausea and morning sickness during pregnancy. So what you would do is you would use the super neuro and MTHFR support, and you would take 4 capsules per day. It's meant for people to be able to titrate up to 4 capsules or 4,000 micrograms of 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate per day. Some people don't need that whole amount. People with known or suspected abnormality are recommended that amount, and anyone with Crohn's disease or another inflammatory bowel disease, the scientific evidence supports even a little bit higher at 5,000 micrograms. So for you, more than likely it should be 4,000 micrograms, so you take 4 capsules per day, okay? And then, by the way, after 3-4 months, I want you to retest your homocysteine and write me a note about how your homocysteine levels have gone down. And also, yeah, this time you get pregnant and you stay pregnant. But I'd like for you to trimester and be doing all the nutrients, both you and if you have a male partner and your partner during that time, please, okay? Because time is of the essence, and we know we've been able to extend reproductive span, natural and assisted reproductive span to 48 and a half years, and now we're reaching 51 years in our community, which is beautiful. And I want you to know that there's a big change that happens after age 41 and especially 42. So if you're beyond 42, don't be afraid, because we have tons of success beyond 42. But if you haven't gotten past 42 yet, you cannot wait another minute, because it's going to be easier now than it's going to be in the future. So time is of the essence. Okay, everybody? All right, let's see. You're so welcome, Mama Cece. We love you. Let's see. Okay. Oh, you're static and dynamic testing. Okay, perfect. Don't worry, Mama Cece. We're here. We're here. We're not going anywhere. Mm, um, what I'll do is somebody's asking about the benefits and kind of the time, like the order from most immediate to, you know, when it needs time to accrue. We'll send out the survey, and then you can see all of that. Okay. So I think first in the coming week, tomorrow I'll send you a recap of today. Little by little, I'll cover all. I have all of the information already written out, so I'll put it in emails for you little by little, so that it's not overwhelming. We're going to be, is there anybody here who didn't get to complete your vote for sense, or your vote for the formulations on deck for release that you want us to in order of prioritization? If you didn't complete them, maybe we'll send those out via email, and then we'll also send out the survey so you can see the things that you can expect. Now, this is specifically for the super egg support, so it doesn't include all the nutrients in the full egg and the full egg and sperm collection, but you'll get a good range and sense of what you, and it's powerful. It covers a lot of things for you, so that's beautiful. Let's see, Mama Mackenzie, you should see an impact on your AMH level, but between month 4 and month 6 for the super egg support. Okay. Let's see, you have so much energy and clarity of thoughts. Those are some of the earliest impacts, and I agree. So for those of you who don't know and haven't been, let me actually stop the screen share so I can look at you more closely. Okay, so for those of you who, oh, I didn't tell you all I have. Do we have any Los Angeles mamas in the house? I wear my Los Angeles t-shirt just to honor our LA mamas and families and all the people suffering right now. I forgot to let you all know, and just send so much love. If you're in Los Angeles, let us know. We want to send you an extra special note, okay? So when I set out to design super egg support, my goals were very clear. I wanted to create the most potent egg quality and ovarian reserve and reproductive longevity and even broader longevity formulation in the world. And I based much of the research on the emerging area of science on the effects of mTOR inhibition and other pathways affected by a drug that is under study. And this drug is showing promise for different egg quality, ovarian, and other reproductive benefits, but it also comes with a number of really gnarly side effects, including reproductive harm. So what I set out to do was to create a formulation so powerful that it could act on the mTOR inhibition, the FOX3, all of these, sirtuins. I'll share some of this in the emails as well. All of these different pathways like this drug, but safely without any of the side effects. And the results are so powerful and amazing. I mean, I haven't even, we're so focused on egg quality, ovarian reserve, reproductive longevity, and extending ovarian function as long as we can, delaying menopause as long as we can. But I haven't even told you the full range of amazing benefits and the way it affects the brain, the way it affects the microbiome. I mean, it is just absolutely incredible. Protective effects against cancer, just so many amazing, amazing, amazing things. Insulin, blood sugar, thyroid benefits, blood pressure benefits. Oh my gosh, so many. So on the label, you'll see that it says that if you're taking medication for your thyroid, for blood pressure, for blood sugar, for insulin, monitor your level, any changes in your levels very carefully, because you could need to reduce those medications. Okay. So this is how, I mean, it is a medical grade formulation. All of these formulations, the super sperm and testosterone support, the pregnenolone with DHEA, the forthcoming ones that you voted on, that is my intention. Like we're not putzing around. We're not messing around here. I wouldn't waste my time. I wouldn't waste your time. But that's also why they're crazy expensive. It's not because we're being crazy. They're crazy expensive to make. I mean, every time we make a tiny, tiny batch, it's at least $50,000. Do you know how insane that is for a self-funded company like ours? Even enormous companies wouldn't do that, because it's like insanity. But in good conscience, I can't do less than what I know to do, and that's what we did. I mean, we took huge risks, but that's what I was determined. So, all right, remember what I said. We do what it takes. We are the mama bears, and we do whatever it takes for our super babies and for each other's super babies as well. Okay, let's see. Let me see. I think that I'm gonna have to stop because I'm actually late for my meeting. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save the chat first of all. The team, Crystal and Raina, are going to stay. I'm gonna leave the meeting. Team, when I leave the meeting, it's not gonna affect anybody, right? Let me just make sure I'm not the host. Yeah, I'm not the host. Okay, good. Okay, I'm gonna leave the meeting. The team is going to stay here and get what you need, please. This is the most time effective way to do this. So stay here, get what you need, get your links, get your codes, use them while they're active. And then I will see you back here next Wednesday for part 2. If you want to bring your partners, if you have a male partner, you want your partner to learn about sperm and just how influential the sperm is. I mean, it's more than 50% of the equation in some cases, but at least 50. Invite your partner. And then the week after that, we're doing Super Family Vision 2025, which is going to be a very different flavor, but so helpful, so beautiful. And I'm really excited to teach you something that I've done for this year that we haven't done in the past. That has been a game changer for me. Okay. All right, everybody, I send you off with warmest wishes. I'm sprinkling all the super baby dust in your direction, and I send you off with my unconditional loving kindness. I hope all your dreams come true this year. That is my dream, for all your dreams to come true this year. And I'll see you. I can't wait to be with you again. So happy to be with you. The only reason we waited a couple weeks into January to come together is because I've been in mad scientist mode, working on a new book proposal. I didn't get to send it off before today as I had planned, but I'm so close. So I think tomorrow I'll be able to, fingers crossed, send me good energy for that. It's going to be so exciting and groundbreaking, this book. I'm excited. So I was so happy to finally be with you today, and I can't wait to be with you again next week and the week after. Okay. All right, team. Thank you so much for everything. Thanks for being agile as I'm like springing things on you in the just kind of without notice. And please take care of everybody, and I will see you all next week. Have a beautiful rest of the day. Stay here and get what you want, everybody. Get what you want, get what you need. I'm going to leave. I don't think it's going to affect anything. If it does, my apologies in advance. I'll see you next week, everyone. Oh, if anybody needs to primester, I forgot to say this earlier. Please make sure you let us know now and you start now, because we are transitioning to a subscription model for the primester protocol, which means that you'll no longer be able to just pay once and have lifetime access. We've always done it that way, but for a number of reasons, we need to switch that. So we should have already made the switch, but I feel like I haven't had a chance to. I've been writing you all about other things, and I haven't taken the time to really give you all enough notice. So we will be switching, which will mean once we switch to subscription, it will mean you'll only have access during the time you have an active subscription. And when you stop the subscription, you won't have access anymore. Those of you who have enrolled in the primester protocol before this change will not be affected in any way whatsoever. Do not worry. You still have lifetime access. We will always honor what you came in with. So you will not be affected. But going forward, there will be that change, and it will be a significant change. So if you are not primestering, now is the time to, don't delay, don't be wishy-washy anymore. You just get in there and get it before we make that switch. And like I said, we're overdue for it. I just haven't had enough time. Oh, I've been prioritizing writing you all about other things I need to get to, closing that out for all of you. So if you need that, you also please let Crystal and Raina know now, so they can give you a link so you can check out and lock yourself into the lifetime access before we change. Okay. All right, everybody. I'll see you next week on Wednesday, same time. Have a beautiful rest of your day, beautiful rest of your week. I'll be writing you tomorrow. Okay. Can't wait to see you next week. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, team.